All right, welcome. I think excited to get started. For those of you who don't know me, I am Todd Bookspan, the founder of Win by Noon. And a lot of people don't know that I've been in the mortgage industry for over 20 years. And during that time, I built a team that did a fair amount of production. And my wife leads that team now with a business partner, and I do coach and lead the loan officers. And really want to bring to you, whether you're a realtor or a loan officer, sort of my experience of how to create client engagement with HomeBot. I don't work for HomeBot, and but I just love the product, and I get so many questions about it when I'm talking to Win by Noon users that I thought I would do another webinar. It's been a little over a year since I did one. I'm going to be running through a few things as we go. So real quick, I'm going to do a poll for those of you who are on time and here. So here's your first question. If you could just take a second and tell me, what role do you sit in? Are you a realtor, a lender, or other? So that'll help me. I'm still going to talk to everybody, but so far it looks like you are almost all. All right. So the chat feature's open. So I've got two people who are other. So if you other people would tell me what your role is, that would be helpful. We are 77% loan officers. We are 13% other, and just about 10% realtors. Okay, so we are going to, that's awesome. Okay, so now we're going to look at our next poll. That'd be helpful. Okay, so I got people here telling me what they are. Okay, transaction coordinator. Awesome. I would love to know. So chat is open. So again, let me know what you guys have questions on. So this is really going to be interactive. So I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about why engagement matters, because it doesn't really help me if I talk you through the product if you don't really get the why, because I got to really get you guys focused on doing this and executing, essentially kicking some ass. And then I've got questions that were either posted to Facebook or were emailed to me by the Win by Noon community and the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind community. So any questions that you're thinking that you definitely want me to answer, go ahead and put in there, because ultimately we're going to spend the first bit just walking about the why behind it. And again, I'm going to keep that super tight. And then after that, I'm going to dig in, and literally I'm just going to open up my team's HomeBot. I know I'm probably really good, but I'm not like the super expert. And I'll just kind of walk you through how to do different things and how we've used it. I'll talk about the scripts that I've used. I'll talk about scripts I know other people are using, kind of what my team is doing. And I believe if I do all that, that you will come away saying, all right, now I get it a little bit more. And then we'll kind of just, answer questions as we go. I have one more poll question, assuming that I can find it. I think it's this one. Okay. All right. So here's one more question for you guys to answer. So, go ahead and answer this. Are you a HomeBot user currently? Yes or no? Look at that. So I was expecting it to be like 80% HomeBot users, 90% HomeBot users. It's about 2/3, 1/3. So that is really awesome. In fact, you guys are still answering. That is terrific. We got 84% of you answered, and we are just that 64% are using it and 36% aren't. So again, I want you guys to know this is about you. And so as we go through this, just answer any, ask any questions that you have along the way, and I'll be super transparent, and hopefully I will know the answers to all of them. I'm laughing because my good buddy Grant at HomeBot, who I've had on a webinar with me in the past, I actually reached out to him. I was playing with it last night just because they put it in updates all the time. And I was like, hey, I saw this button last night. I can't find it this morning. Where is it? And he recorded a video and sent it to me. So, but I do believe that I will get most of us all the way through this. All right. So here's my quick talk about a client, how to increase client engagement. I think it's really important. So just a couple things, why engagement matters. And then I'm going to talk about how to increase it and how HomeBot can help. I'm not going to use, like I said previously, when I've taught this, I've got, 50 slides on HomeBot. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to literally open up the hood and we're going to go right through mine. You'll see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then I have Q&A at the end, but I already told you guys, use chat and start asking questions right away, because I want to make sure I don't miss anything that's important to you. You guys took the time to be here. I got a lot of people that said, hey, it's gonna be recorded. They want to watch the recording, and I'm excited to help them as well. But you guys are here. You're the super achievers who want to get better at it, and I'm going to take my time to run through it. Those of you who don't have it, or those of you who have it and then are going to be, if you're a lender and you're adding real estate agents, you can use this code. So WBN lender waives the $200 activation fee for loan officers. WBN agent waives the $50 activation fee for your real estate agent. So if you're a loan officer and you already have it, great, just use the WBN agent, and you can just go to homebot.ai/win by noon. If you forget the code, it's super easy to get there. I do have to do a quick commercial for you loan officers on here that the Modern Mortgage Summit is exactly 3 weeks away. and the content is coming in already. You know, it's a one-day live virtual event. And so Dave Savage, Renee Rodriguez, and myself will be co-hosting it again. And the content is pre-recorded and it is like off the hook. Last year was great. We had I don't know, some ridiculously high net promoter score. I'm not a net promoter score expert, but people loved it. And we would love to have you participate. If you just go to modernmortgagesummit.com, you can purchase a ticket. For you real estate agents, we are 7 weeks away from the Modern Real Estate Summit 2. And ironically, I haven't seen any of it, but we actually already have a couple of videos that have come in for that. We got a really all-star cast for that as well. And so stay tuned on that. The website's not up, so you can't buy tickets for that yet. But the Modern Real Estate Summit tickets will be up soon too. Now, I already did my quick poll. So real quick, just why it matters. I think I know you know this, right? I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know what it is you need to know. But I really want to remind you of it. Like, this is what I was called like rubbing salt in the wound. And I'll tell you, again, transparently for me, I can tell you that my team is doing a mediocre job on it in 2021. And we should be doing an amazing job. And I'll explain to you as I get there how we're gonna switch that up, sort of what I'm gonna add to my playbook for my team so that my team crushes it going forward with HomeBot. But the bottom line is this, you've got to have an open mind. There is a lot of things that we all think we should be doing that we're not doing. I think that there's things that I'm going to tell you should be doing, and you may not be like, hey, Todd, you're wrong. But I would just challenge you to say, hey, what's the truth in what I'm saying? And then take from this what feels good to you. Right? Take from this what feels good to you and what you feel like you can use to grow your business. I really need you to think like a consumer, not like a real estate professional. And the reason I say that is because we have what's called the curse of knowledge. The curse of knowledge is that we've been doing this, whether we've been doing it for 20 weeks or 20 years, we think we're the experts. And the reason why is because you are an expert, right? I mean, it's true, you are an expert, but you have the curse of knowledge, and you have to put on that mindset of, hey, I got to think like the consumer thinks in order for me to look at from that perspective, because ultimately in the end, that's what's going to keep you engaged, right? Technology is coming in and it's going to make it easier, quicker, faster, cheaper for someone to get a mortgage or to buy or sell a home. And you have to figure out, how do you make the experience and the connection better so that they come to you first? I was recently at Renee Rodriguez's Amplify event in Las Vegas, and Jason Mitchell, who's the #1 real estate agent in the country, he actually said it's a lender game going forward. He says that the lender who gets the lead is actually going to get the transaction. He feels like if you're pulling it into your funnel, that you're going to actually get it there more so than the real estate agent. So my question for you is, do your clients truly count on you as their market expert? And I tend to challenge real estate agents with this in the past, but really over the last few years, I challenged loan officers with that as well. When I was doing loans, I sold myself. I portrayed myself as the real estate expert. I said, I'm your expert for all things real estate and finance. So if you've got a financial question, I want you to call me. Yes, that meant that they called me when their insurance was up for renewal. That meant that they called me when they were going to, buy or lease a new car. But ultimately what it did is allow me to be the quarterback and help them use their mortgage as the financial center of their financial future, and help them focus on having the best debt at all times, and to save money. And I think from a real estate perspective, I also wanted to be the quarterback at that as well. And again, I don't want to sound like a jerk. I worked with a lot of great real estate agents. However, a lot of my great real estate agents I work with weren't proactive at keeping in touch with their clients. And therefore, I wanted to make sure that they didn't go on there, click the wrong button, get sucked into somebody else's lead gen. I wanted them to call me about real estate questions as well. So I think that you have to understand this question, and I'll read it again. Do your clients truly count on you as their market expert? And so the question is, why do they visit real estate sites? And we know it, if we were live in the audience, or, if I wanted to take more time on this and drag it out, I would say to you guys, can you, sorry, I was reading chat. So there's a bird. Someone's asked me to post the links. That's a great question, or great request, Jamie. I will do that shortly. Why do they visit real estate websites? And, I get two things: to search for houses, and I get to get home values, right? And so those are two things, right, that they're doing, in my opinion. And there's others as well, but those are the main two. And I say it's always easy because they're online a lot, right? And they don't want to bug you. I feel like that was kind of an aha. I was hiking with a buddy of mine, and he told me, well, the reason that I actually, as a loan officer, have the ability for my clients to search buyers is because I know that when it's 9 o'clock at night and they've had a glass of wine and they want to up their purchase price, when they go online and look at my search with my portal, I can see that they're no longer searching for a $600,000 house. They're searching for an $800,000 house. And since I have transparency into that, I can follow up the next day. And I tell them that I want them to reach out to me so that they don't fall into somebody else's trap by clicking a button to ask that listing agent a question. Right. So again, the whole goal is really the easy button for engagement, and spoiler alert, it's HomeBot. Right? There's just so much noise out there. And again, we know it, right? This is the biggest one, but now we know every website has it, right? We know that if you're going to Redfin, that they're going to give you a value. We know that if you log into your mortgage company statement, they're going to give you a value. We know there's lots and lots and lots and lots of noise out there. And then we also know now that they have get a cash offer, right? So, certainly for you real estate agents, that's a big thing where, it's amazing how many clients my team talk to. And granted, Arizona is the hotbed for that. Offer pads from here, Zillow cash offer started here. There's just so many of them that have started in this market. And it's amazing how many clients, even a client during the refi boom last year told one of my loan officers, when the loan officer said, hey, what do you think your house is worth? They said, oh, I got an offer, a cash offer from one of those online people. They're willing to give me this. That thing you send me, which was HomeBot, was this, and Zillow said this. So they had actually done, quote unquote, their research. Again, there's a ton of other people out there, and I think it's going to be on Amazon, right? Rocket Homes, find an agent, right? Jason Mitchell, I mentioned him, biggest agent in the country. Guess what? He is the preferred person for Rocket Loans. And so again, when your clients are going on there, if you're not directing them to your local mortgage professional, guess where they're going to go? They're going to go to Quicken Loans. They're going to apply for a loan. And guess what Quicken's going to do? They're going to refer them out to someone, and that someone's probably not you. And so really you got to think about what are the basics, right? You want to put it on autopilot, right? Use your CRM. You want to remember the 4 F's, and you want to put those into your CRM, right? So the 4 F's is, if when you kind of think about, you might have heard of like Ford, right? So it's family. I like all the same letter. Family, fun. What do you do for fun? What do you want to do in the future? Where do you see yourself going? Like that's kind of the goals side of it. Because again, you want to know about these things about your clients. And then last one is F for Facebook or social media. Like, okay, if you don't know anything about your client, or you don't remember it because you forgot to put it in the CRM when you sold them the house, then put it in your CRM now. Just stalk them on Facebook, right before you talk to them. I was interviewing somebody yesterday, and guess what I did? I went to Facebook and looked them up, learned a little bit about them. I went to LinkedIn, learned a little bit about them before I had the phone call. And then you want to create and stick to a plan. So I call it the Win by Noon Ideal Week. You guys can, ping me, and I'm happy to send this to you. It's in the file section of the Win by Noon User Mastermind group, but we've got a version of this for real estate agents and loan officers. And I think it's just a great opportunity for you to be really laser focused on doing the activities you need to do when you're doing them. You need to be doing annual mortgage reviews if you're a loan officer, right? I'm not going to go off on a big tangent on that, but a lot of we're doing the TCA a day challenge right now, and we're also doing the CMA a day challenge. TCA, total cost analysis, for you realtors or you loan officers who aren't using it. It's just a great digital spreadsheet to help clients see what are their financing options so that they can make the best choice, going forward. And we've got really great success stories about that. CMA a day, comparative market analysis day, where Jimmy Burgess, who's a lead trainer out of Florida for Berkshire Hathaway, before he stopped producing about a year and a half ago, he spent the last quarter of 2018, when it was a little harder to sell a house, and he did 72 unsolicited CMAs. He got $11 million a listing, sold $9 million. And then over the last year and a half, since then, from those 72, he's gotten another $5 million worth of listings, another $3 million worth of buyers that he's referred to his team. And so these kinds of things are really critical. Again, it's being proactive versus reactive. And I really just want to make sure that you guys keep that proactive piece going. And so really the key with it is don't make them look for it, right? The reason they're going online is because you're not giving it to them. And when you proactively give it to them, then they don't have to look that far to find it. And so you want to give them what they want when they're looking for it elsewhere. And then they are going to look for it elsewhere. So don't think, oh, I'm Pollyanna, that just because they get this thing in the email from you every month, that they're not going to look at the other places. However, they remember you as their trusted real estate professional, whether you're a real estate agent or a loan officer. So ultimately, in the end, I want you to proactively be their market expert. I mentioned the Mortgage Coach total cost analysis. My buddy Dave Savage is CEO. No, I don't own any part of the company. I'm just a big believer in their product. So certainly I'm going to encourage you loan officers to be looking at that if you're not there. And then last thing I'll say is proactive equals autopilot, right? So every month you get a little email like this that says, hey, your home value estimate is ready. And then they click on this. And so I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm going to do a couple of things here if I can pull it off. Maybe I can, maybe I can't, but we will see. Okay, so I got out of that. I'm going to, all right, this is going to be really tricky. So, but it was a great suggestion that somebody had. So I'm going to throw these links in here real quick. And it's going to throw me, oops, that's the wrong link. I'm typing the wrong thing in. I typed in Win by Noon. That's just where my brain goes. So I'm going to go Modern Mortgage Summit. I'll put that link in there. And then I'm going to go homebot.ai/Win by Noon. And so that way I'll put those links per your request down in the chat. And here we go to everyone. Here's the Modern Mortgage Summit. And then here is the HomeBot Win by Noon one. And you don't need to use the link in the HomeBot one to get the discount. You just need to type the code in there. But if you go through there, that's kind of the easy button. All right, so there are those. Okay, so now we are going to just go under the hood, and then this is where we're going to get into the questions. So the questions, I'm going to kind of run through stuff, and I'll hit those questions as we go. But again, if there's something that you want to make sure that that I do cover, or if I don't cover it, just continue to throw it in there. I'll get distracted by it, but I've got a number of questions already. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to do my best to share my screen now. And I'm going to show this right here, share. I'm going to go back to HomeBot. And all right, so this is under the hood. This is my team's account. So normally when you go in to do a HomeBot webinar, they're using a fake account that a HomeBot salesperson has given you. And the data, and it's in my mind, I shouldn't say it. I'm like, all right, it's a bunch of loan officers that they're pitching on buying the product. So, who knows how accurate the data is. So this is real data. And again, let me just be transparent of some things that are kind of failures. I noticed earlier in the year that there was a gap that our clients hadn't been put in there. So when I stopped doing loans, guess what happened was it was one of the areas where the person who took over and was supposed to be putting the leads from closed transactions, our database in here, forgot to. So we just loaded 1,500 clients the last 3 years of loans in here. And so we got some brand new people in here. And then there's, a bunch of bad email addresses now, just stuff where it's, ultimately a failure on our team. So number one thing I'm going to tell you is once you have a HomeBot, make sure that every 30 days you're uploading clients. Now, one of the things that you're going to see, I'll show you a home report, is it's going to show, people are always worried, like if you're a loan officer, it's not going to show them refinance rates for 6 months because it knows you don't want to get an early payoff. So it's kind of intuitive and it's kind of smart. And one of the things that I would say about it is that when it comes to the values, I do get questions on it, like, is the value accurate? They are partners with Black Knight. Black Knight's the biggest data provider out there. And my answer is, I don't really care if it's accurate. In fact, I don't want it to be accurate, because what I want them to do is push a button on it. And I'll show you that button in a second. So you'll notice two things in here. Number one is it says homeowners. And number two, it says buyers. And so buyers, we don't register our clients as buyers. That we want them to self-register so we see what's going on with that. And I kind of thought it was hokey at first. However, I would tell you that we've sent out 95 buyer emails this last 30 days, and we've had 55% of them actually open the email. And more importantly, what you want to see, what are the buyer views? So 21% of the people are actually looking at it and actually engaging with it. So again, we're talking about creating engagement. So again, the email goes out, it creates engagement, and that's half the story. So you always really, for me, I start here. If I was jumping in today and I was going to go out there, I would be looking at activity. So let me just hit refresh, because I probably opened this up last night, and this will actually show you, as it does its thinking, literally who's been on there. So again, these are real clients. Jason viewed the home a minute ago, and over the last 30 days, that's all he's done. Raven, she just viewed the home, and then she also viewed her home's market. So that means she clicked on a button. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Farish viewed the home again, viewed the home again, viewing the home's market, and then viewed the home's market again. Again, this is basically your roadmap of phone calls that you should be making. This is how it's creating engagement when it goes out. So again, some of these people didn't do a whole lot. Viewed home. But there was a couple on here, like look at down here, Benny. Benny viewed their home 5 times, viewed the home's market and then has been on 3 times to view it, right? So that's probably someone who's got something going on, thinking about buying or selling, right? You view it once because you're curious. I get it every month. I own rental properties. I click on it and I look at what my houses are, what's going on with them. I don't click on all of them. I click on, a couple of them. And so it's just a matter of looking at it. But you've got people that are looking at, these values. And so let's just pick one. Let me think about the best way to do this so I don't. Let's just look at, so I'll search a client for a second. I'm going to search, you'll notice this is, again, I'm going under the hood, but I'm going to pull up one of my own properties. So that way it doesn't, I'm not digging into a client's private data. I'll share my own private. Whoops, if I spell my name right, that's super embarrassing, but that's okay. Whoops, there we go. I won't look at my parents or my brother. So let me just look at, all right, so this is my cute little house I bought a few months ago. And so again, there's a couple of things that I think are important here. So you can see that my wife actually opened the email and looked at it 5 days ago when it got sent. So I can go in here and preview the digest to see what's in there. In fact, let me just go back to that for 1 second. So there's just a couple of things that you would look at on this screen. Number one is, you can see it's asked me, have I done a CMA, but you can send the home email. So again, you can resend the email. And this is where the proactivity part comes in. You're trying to create engagement. So in theory, when I saw my wife look at this home, what I should have done if I was a good loan officer or a good real estate agent is that's my mark, right? All those people in that activity feed should be on your call list for that day or the next day, right? I said you should have an ideal week, and your ideal week should include prospecting time. I would suggest it be at least an hour a day, start with 30 minutes. And I know a lot of you have 2 to 3 hour a day windows where you are, working to create client engagement. But I think the first group you start with are the people who are actively engaging with HomeBot, right? Totally makes sense. Who's the next group? The people who are not actively engaging with HomeBot. And that's when you would call them up and you would say, if Tara hadn't looked at it, say, hey, Tara, it's Todd Bookspan just calling to, just checking in to see how you're doing. And, and I'd make small talk and I would, ask her about her children since, in this case, I remember them off the top of my head since they're mine. And again, you're looking in your CRM, I'm doing this. And if she said, oh, I haven't seen that, I'd say, awesome, let me just hit send on it real quick. And you push it out, and you could hit send and it would send them the email. And then again, so here is what the digest looks like. Since 40% of you have never seen it, you would look on here and see it. So there's a couple of things that would matter in there. Number one is you can click on the current mortgage. It's pulling this from tax records, and you can see the mortgage that's on the that's on the home. And you know what? Sad thing is for a lot of you mortgage loan officers is you're going to click on that and you're going to realize that that mortgage is one that they got 2 months ago from a different lender that's not you, right? Again, it's you have to be okay with it, but that's the big slap in the face that we all do it. If we're not good at following up with our own database, then they're probably not going to follow up with you. And so again, you can kind of look at some of these things in here. So it shows here what we've paid in principal and interest so far. It's showing what we think of the value. And so here's what I think you need to put on this cap right here is it's got this thing here where you can tune the value. So again, all these things that are blue are creating engagement for you, right? Every time they click on one of these buttons, you get a notification that does it, right? So you can tune in the value. So I can say, I think it's worth more. Or I think it's worth less. I can say, okay, I think it's only worth 510. Then I can click this expert, this button here, and it'll actually send an email asking for a CMA, a comparative market analysis. I'll talk more about how you're going to use that, whether you're a real estate agent or a loan officer in just a second. And so now I updated that, and I can go through here. We've got 3 bedrooms, and then we've got 1 full bath, but we're about to add a second one. And so again, you can go through here and look at all these things. We're going to make the house 1,700 square feet. Now I'm going to really mess with the algorithm. We just did a kitchen remodel. We're putting in new all these things we're doing. So I probably should just go through here. I mean, literally we're doing all these things. So, all right, let's just get out of here. Wow, look at that. See, it gave me all that. So now it's going to give me an updated report here in a bit. But again, anytime you're looking here, right here is taking a look at the market. This is where it's switching from house to finance related, right? Hey, let's look at how we're doing paying towards principal. It talks about interest adding up, and I'm all about helping people be financially more astute. And then it shows them here, well, what if they prepay on their mortgage, right? How does that help? So again, you're seeing here, if they've already paid extra, they can go ahead and change their loan balance. These are all things, it's crazy. People do this all the time. They're viewing this as their financial statement for their home, which is awesome. That's what you want as a real estate professional who works for them. You'll notice on here that because the house is less than 6 months old, there's no refinance options on here. So I will pull up one in a minute that shows refinance options, so you can kind of see that. But again, they're trying not to create when rates drop, something happen. Now, heaven forbid, like I said before, is it accurate? What if it shows that the house went down? That's okay. It's great for you as a real estate professional to talk about it, right? Who knows if it goes down, if there's a house down the street that just got sold to, an investor for 50 grand under market. It's your job to protect it rather than them scratching their head as your client, wondering why you just sold them a house that went down in value. You've got the ability to be proactive when they go on here and look at it. I do love this part where you can look at what if you rented it as an Airbnb, what that would look like. So I think that part's pretty darn cool. And then, again, here's all the things. Can you help me learn more? And, and again, it's got all sorts of different things on how to do all these different things. So again, it's giving you, there's this Air DNA. If you've never looked at doing Airbnb stuff, that's where they get their data from. They're a big conglomerate that does stuff. Oh, whoops. I was trying to get myself so I could move around here, but apparently I should not have put myself into this fancy mode, full screen mode, because now I can't get out of it. So hang on, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. I'm going to go back in and share my screen one more time. And then hopefully it will let me out of full screen mode. Let's see, did that work? No, it did not. So that's the wrong one. All right, let's try that one more time. This is Todd flying without a net, pushing the wrong Google Chrome. That's what I did. Let's say share. It's giving me this other funky thing that I do not think I should see. Okay. All right, hang on one second, folks. Going without a net, I'm going to go look at my Chrome over here, and I'm going to escape out of it. It does have a back button, but all right, now I got it fixed. Now we will go in there. See, no laughing at me. This is just, I think I've only done 300 webinars in the past year, and I don't share my screen very often. I normally just talk. You guys know that about me. All right, we're back in it. I was just trying to make it. Okay, so let's get out of here. It's funny because we actually sold this house. We don't own that one anymore, but let me find a rental property that I own, and let me dig in that so you can kind of see what that would look like. So I'm going to go back in here, my name, and then I'm just going to do, once I kind of look through the report again, I will then dig in and go through a bunch of other fabulous ideas. Okay, get some chat questions. So I'm going to peek at those while I'm doing this. So Jim's asking me, so those are your past clients that are getting the email viewed, correct? Those are all people we've loaded in the database. And I only have access to our clients to see their information. Now we've also got real estate agent partners. And so we'll get notified, we'll get copied on it. So if Stacy's client asks her for a CMA or asks an interest rate question, I get copied on it. So I know that it's going on, because again, as a partner of someone, I'm going to want to pick up the phone and call them. Hey, did you see that Jim asked for a CMA? So again, it's the teamwork piece. Teamwork makes the dream work, and you're going to want to hold them accountable, since you're, as a loan officer, going to be paying for half of their fee. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And then if you're a real estate agent, be cognizant that your loan officer is paying for you to be in there. And then your job is to help work together with them. And so this is a rental property of ours. So let me just preview the digest on it. And so again, you can see our market here has been very good, but it's funny, it doesn't think I have a loan. So, but let me just jump down here. So then it starts to show you, it thinks I've got 100% equity. So you can see I haven't gone in and added any mortgages on it. And it does have a mortgage, but it says, if you bought another home, how much could you afford? Again, so you can kind of see these details it's giving you. So what it's doing is it's helping your client think of things that they can do. Right? Okay, here's my purchasing power to buy a new home. And they've got these cute little videos on here. Green is good, red is bad. Remember, if you pay something like $17,000 to $43,000 in fees and commission when you sell your current home, the cost varies by agent, location, and company, right? Oh, spoiler, we don't like that. But again, so you can say start your search, and then this is where they are basically making themselves a buyer, right? They're actually creating in here, and they're going into the areas that they want to look at. So I'm going to go back for a minute and go through that, but we'll talk about the buyer piece in a minute. And I'll tell you why I thought the buyer thing was hokey. And then I'll also tell you why I think it's pretty dang good. Let me just go back. Hang on. I'm going to find another property that has a mortgage that it recognizes attached to it. And now it doesn't think I have any clients. All right, let's go back to my home. Oh, so that's my buyer one. Okay. See, so this is like you sitting in my office with me as we go through this. And so let me find a property that I would have thought that one had it on there. Let's go to Sunset. All right, so Sunset, let's preview the digest. And like I said, the reason that I'm picking this one up is because it does have a mortgage. And when I get down here, it's going to give me mortgage options, right? So, whoa, look at that. I'm a loan officer and it says I can refinance my house and save money. Now, you notice it's not giving a 30-year fixed option, right? It's giving options. So sometimes this will be in red, which means there's no option. So probably if I go over to here and give it this, right, it's telling me that these other loans don't make sense, right? Like you're not going to save any money on them. So the client has the opportunity to go in here and then it's looking at this stuff. And then it says, ooh, what's your rate? And so again, it's gonna be using this. So what it's using is it's using the Freddie Mac rates. It's pulling in the Freddie Mac rate table for average rates. This may be higher or lower than your rates. Again, like I said earlier with value, I don't want it to be right because I want the client to engage, right? So I'm going to get notification on all this stuff. Now, one of the things that's super cool is it says, get a breakdown. So let's go back there. Let's show you guys that again. Get a detailed breakdown when your client hits this. If you're a loan officer and they're using the mortgage coach integration, I'll show you that. But actually, when you do this, it'll actually create a total cost analysis and email it to the client, or it'll notify you. Well, it notifies you either way. It'll give you time. So like we have ours set up to give a delay. So if someone asks for this, the loan officer can go in, tweak it, add a video to it, and then push it out themselves to the client. You can also set it up so it automatically shoots it out to the client, which is pretty darn cool. So it'll actually create a total cost analysis and send it out. I'll show you what the integrations are that they have and how you set those up. You do have to be an enterprise user in order to have that, but it's pretty darn cool when a client requests this and then it turns into a refinance. Literally the first week they did this integration, my team got a request, updated the TCA, sent it out and converted it. And right there, I was sold on it. Going back to my thing, I've said it a couple of times now. You don't want it to be accurate because you want the client to raise their hand and ask you a question. If they think it's accurate, then guess what they're not going to do? They're not going to engage. They're not going to give you that ability to make the call. What I find is that most people suck at HomeBot. So right now, what my team, I told you they've sucked at it for this year, is all they're doing is when someone clicks a button, they're replying and addressing that. What they're not doing is going through that big list of all the people that you saw that just so far today have engaged with our HomeBot, and they're not proactively calling them. Why? Because they've been so stinking busy. Will they start doing it? Yeah, because the market is starting to shift. And so my goal is to have you guys create that engagement, right? So the client may not have pushed the button and said, call me, but the client did engage with the tool that you paid for and provided for them. And now you've got an excuse to call them. That's really, I think, the bottom line of this. If you just pick up the phone and call people to say, hey, I saw that you looked at the HomeBot digest. What did you think? Right? When you sign someone up new, you should be absolutely calling them, telling them, again, you have a few phone calls to make. Hey, Tammy, I just signed you up for this really cool thing that I call it's the HomeBot digest. It is a financial statement for you and your home, right? Homeowners have over 80% of their net worth at retirement in their home equity. And I want to help you by being your guide and proactively helping you manage your home equity going forward. Have you looked at it? And again, you know it because they did it. And then you can say, oh, awesome. Do you have any questions? And you can go through it. And then if they haven't looked at it, right, if you loaded up 30 people last month because you closed 30 loans, or you load up 5 people because you sold 5 homes, pick up the phone and call them. And the ones who haven't seen it, then you can say, hey, do you mind looking in your spam, right? Teach them how to drag it out of the Gmail promotions folder into their main folder so they get it next time. And then just say, gosh, you know what, if you don't like it, you can totally unsubscribe. But the unsubscribe rate is like 3 or 4%. It's super, super low compared to other products because of the fact it's adding value to your clients. So again, I don't want this to be accurate, the refi options. I don't want the homeowner options to be accurate because I want them to reach out and engage. And so again, it gives lots of information on it. And I think that that's super powerful. And again, it's got the ability for people to go in there and do that stuff. And then again, it gives all these things. Hey, maybe I should buy an investment property. Hey, maybe I should purchase a new home. Hey, maybe I can rent my home and buy another. Hey, maybe I can sell it and pocket the cash. Again, you're just creating options. And then down here, look at this. Right? Hey, do I want to create an emergency fund? We get people all the time who ask us about emergency funds, right? That whole idea of trading bad debt for good debt. And these are things that even if you're not a loan officer, if you're a real estate agent, this is where you're saying, awesome, you know what? Hey, I think that, Christy is awesome. I would recommend that you reach out to Christy and she can, help you. So again, you're going to be connecting these people back to your partners. Now, when it comes to, you know, all these different things, again, these are certainly things that are up above. These are reasons that people need to talk to their real estate agent, right? Down below, these are reasons that they need to talk to their loan officer. And that's why you guys are working together on this. Some of you who are real estate agents aren't necessarily connected to a loan officer. It depends on the market. I don't know all the details on it, but if you're in a market that Black Knight sells data with their MLS, then you as a realtor can get it on your own. If you're in other markets, you have to have a lender partner on there. And so I would encourage you, if you don't have a lender partner, feel free to reach out to me. I probably know someone great in your market who I could connect you with. I'd love to have you working with someone, because I do think it's teamwork is the best. Teamwork makes the dream work. And so again, these are all great things. And I mentioned this one before. I think this one's super cool is, hey, how much can I rent my house for as an Airbnb? Again, I mean, think about that. That's pretty cool, because it says I could get $108 a night for it. And this one, that's probably a lot more money than we're renting it for currently. But nonetheless, it's a pretty cool, pretty cool option there. So just a couple of kind of backing up for 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 sec. So let me just talk to you guys about this. So one of the questions I got was, how do I get agents to see value, and how do I generate leads to refer to my realtor partners? And so those are mortgage specific questions. So I'm going to talk to all of you. And if you're a realtor, if you have something that you think is your biggest value, I'd love you to put it in chat, because that would be a big help to the loan officers that are on here. But what I would tell you is that I think it's having that, go back to those slides. The reason I talked about the why behind it is you have to get them excited about something. First off, it's not very expensive, right? I think it starts out at $25 or $50 a month, depending on how many people they have in there. Most real estate agents spend a lot of money on things they don't use. They spend a lot of money on things that don't add value. And some of you loan officers may too. So it's a matter of talking to them and saying, hey, I've got a really great thing, because it's going to create client engagement. I use that word in the headline for a reason, because people want to have client engagement. You want to actually talk to your clients. And so it's up to you as a loan officer to be explaining to your real estate professionals why you think it's a value. And I think it's going through all those HomeBot or all those slides that I did earlier in here, because in the end, I promise you this, they are losing transactions to the online portals, period. Right? I mentioned it before. That's what Jason Mitchell said from the stage. He's the #1 loan officer in America, because guess what? I'm sorry, #1 real estate agent in America, because guess what? He gets all the leads for people that want to buy houses who've applied through these other big lender conduits. And that's really, really crazy. I mean, that's just how the market is. You all know that. And so I think it's just a matter of, hey, have you ever had a client that you thought was a loyal client that you sold a home to, that went online, clicked a button, and ended up in someone else's funnel, and that person got the sale of their home? And I believe that the answer to that is 100%. They should say yes. I don't imagine that there are some great agents out there who literally have a database. That database loves them. They talk to them all the time. They're doing all the touches. They're making their quarterly calls. And, awesome. This is just one more tool to add into that makes them look better by adding more value to their clients. Unfortunately, that's not most agents. I think most agents are well-intentioned because they get so reactive during the day that they are not being proactive with their clients, just like most loan officers don't, right? That's why I talk about this thing called win by noon. I think you have to be proactive and do these things that are going to move the needle on your business going forward. And so I think your job is, if you're having troubles getting your real estate agent partners to see, you're just not doing a good job of helping them understand. You're not slapping them upside the face to say, hey, you're losing transactions, right? They are. And then I also think you need to make sure that you understand the value of it, for you as well. Now, how do you generate leads and refer to partners? So let me tell you, the #1 thing that my team gets is someone who wants a CMA. Now, the funny part is that you will call some people and I'll say, hey, I'm just looking at names. I'm just using all you people in here. Hey, Jamie, who are making comments. So keep commenting. I'll keep getting distracted and read them occasionally. Thanks for your kind words. I would just say, hey, Jamie, I saw that you wanted a CMA, that you were asking about the value of your home. And every once in a while, they're going to say, oh, I hit that on accident. You'd be like, great. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what do you think of the tool, right? Again, you're going to engage with them. You're going to engage. But most time they hit that button because one of 3 reasons. 1, they're just curious. Well, that's okay. It gives you an opportunity to engage them. #2, they're thinking about refinancing. Or #3, they're thinking about selling. And so for our team, here's what our standard operating procedure is. #1, when the CMA comes in, loan officer picks up the phone and calls and just says that, right? Hey, awesome. Hey, saw that you inquired about your home value. What's going on? That's the question. It's an open-ended question, right? Because again, you're going to let them tell you, Oh, it was an accident. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about remodeling. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about selling. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about refinancing. Oh, that is so great. Terrific. And then you're going to have looked in your CRM beforehand, and you're going to see who was the real estate agent who sold them that property. And then transparently, not all you realtors are going to like this question, this answer. But at that point, what you're going to do is, if you're still working with that client, then or that with that real estate agent, you're going to say, awesome. Hey, I know that you were working with Stacy before. She is awesome. Have you talked to Stacy lately? So I'm going to get a gauge on, hey, how is the real estate agent doing in their follow-up? Because again, it's a coaching moment. I can say, hey, guess what? I talked to this person and they reached out to me for this because they haven't heard from you. And again, that person may or may not be in HomeBot. If the realtor's in HomeBot with us, then great. They got the notification. Loan officer is going to call and say, hey, you saw that, Jack wanted to see what his value was. And then we're going to coordinate that. Awesome. Hey, if I can be of help, let me know. If they're still working with that agent, awesome. Hey, are you okay if I reach back out to, I forgot what name I just used, whatever, let's say Jack again. Hey, Stacy, I use Stacy. So, hey, awesome. Yeah, Stacy's great. Hey, are you okay if I reach out to Stacy and have her put together this a comparative market analysis for you? And they'll say yes. And then I call Stacy. I get Stacy to do the comparative market analysis. I'll ask them some questions. Have you done any remodeling? Have you done any, again, you want to get them excited about, oh yeah, we put in ceiling fans. And I know you're thinking, oh, ceiling fans didn't help anything, but that's okay. But they might have put in a pool or done something more exciting. And so that's your conversation. You're going to call Stacy. Stacy, can you go ahead and do this CMA and send it back to me? So again, if I'm a loan officer, I want to be in the driver's seat and I'm saying, hey, can you send it back to me? I will go ahead and email to the client and I will copy you so that you can then engage with them and see if they have any questions on it. Now that works both ways. So let's pretend that Stacy was the real estate agent who sold the house and I don't actually work with Stacy anymore. Then that is an opportunity for me to go back and answer Virginia's amazing question. How do I generate leads to refer to partners? That's how I'm going to go out there and I'm going to use that to refer to either to somebody who I want to be in business with or I'm in business with, and I'm going to ask them if they'll do that CMA. Now, here's the weird part about it, and so this is coaching to both realtors and loan officers, is I have called people when I first had HomeBot and said, hey, would you help me and do a CMA? And they're like, well, no. Because I was like, oh, the person, I know because I talked to the client, they're not thinking about moving, they're just interested in their value. And I've had agents say, no, I won't do it. I'm like, okay, you're short-sighted. That's okay. But be okay with that, right? Just know that that's not your person. I've got other agents who reach out to my team all the time and say, I know you use that HomeBot thing, Todd. Hey, do you have any people who need a CMA? I'd love to do them for them, right? Those are smart agents. They want to get in relationship and have that person potentially down the road who's not selling now, thinking about maybe when they do have questions down the road, re-engaging with them. So again, if you're a real estate agent, I would still loop your loan, if it came from your loan officer, I would allow them to be in the seat again, because you're just trying to keep that working, that piece of working together. If you're a real estate agent and you, obviously if they're refinancing, then, get them to your HomeBot partner loan officer. I think that would be my recommendation. Because again, the last thing you want them to do is, go in and apply for a loan with some random person, have a bad experience when you could have send them to a local modern mortgage professional who will use great service and great technology to get them closed. Now, and again, so once that CMA comes back and then sends it, and then again, you're going to want to keep in touch and follow up with that person. So that is my way I would generate leads. All right, I'm going to go back and share my screen. I'm going to take a real quick peek at the chat and see if there's anything that you guys are asking me that is amazing that I want to make sure I get. I'm doing great. I love it because it's real. You guys are awesome. Get a copy of the recording. Absolutely. I would put in the recording up onto our YouTube channel for Win by Noon. We have a terrible YouTube channel, but if I put in good videos like this, it'll become good. So please subscribe. Okay, so it says if the lender partner with an agent, can they upload their closed files directly to HomeBot system? Yeah, so if an agent partners with you, they'll have the ability to, I'll show you how you add one client in, or you can upload a spreadsheet of clients in, and it'll only let, each person be in one time. And so if your agent loads them in there, it'll tell, whoever loads it first. So I tell all my agents, hey, make sure you're good at it. Because now that my team has a system in place, they're gonna do it every 30 days, then they'll actually do that. But we did have some who were already in there. Every once in a while too, you can have someone in there twice, and I just don't worry about it, right? Just tell them, oh gosh, if you get it from someone else, just unsubscribe from them. So someone said, I say that some lenders are using this to attract leads. Yeah, I'll talk about that more. What is there a code to use? Is it Win by Noon affiliate? So yeah, it's a Win by Noon affiliate code, and I will repost that in there. Here's the here's the link. So I'll make that back in there. So yeah, you get if you use this link, you get, it's the two codes are, so there's the link to it. And then it's WBN lender or WBN agent. And then that just waives the startup fees. It's like most things, it's costs the lenders a lot of money, costs you agents less money. So you're super lucky. And then the agent defrays part of your cost and it's cheaper. It's kind of one of those things. It's kind of like Win by Noon. I calculated it the other day because some realtor told me that Win by Noon was too expensive. And I said, even if you buy the monthly subscription, which makes it more expensive than the annual subscription, if I can help you close one more transaction with their average price point, it would pay for 42 years of Win by Noon. And then, even on a loan officer on the low side, it would pay for 22 to 25 years if they make super low commission, because they work in a chop shop or something. All right. So going back to the, using it to generate leads again, it's a couple of things, right? So in Win by Noon, in the Realtor version, we have database ads in there as a metric. And I absolutely think going forward, we need to put that into Win by Noon for loan officers, as you should be proactively looking for people that to add to your database. When I first got HomeBot, I added my neighbors to it. They thought it was super cool. Did I do their loans? No, they have free and clear houses. They're very wealthy in that neighborhood. Now, what am I going to do when I meet people in my new neighborhood where my house is a third of the cost? Guess what? I'm going to add people to HomeBot. So first off, you can actually just use it as a way to talk to people and say, gosh, I got this really cool tool that's like a financial statement for your home. Are you okay if I sign you up for it? Because you just need their, their name, their email address, and their property address. So I would use it that way. But the other way that you're going to use it is you've got orphan clients in there. So you've got clients, if you're a loan officer, who the real estate agent that they got their loan with, their home purchase with, has not been in contact with them. And so that is your way to have leads to pass back out to real estate agents. So as your clients are engaging with HomeBot, they click the button that they've got a question that is a good real estate agent question. You're going to say, okay, they're no longer working with an agent that I work with. Great. I'm going to go ahead and take that person. I'm going to refer them to a new realtor, either a realtor that I want to get in relationship with, right? Every top producing real estate agent that I've ever interviewed who says, I've got the best lender ever, it's my brother or whatever, my best friend. If you say, gosh, I've got a lead for you, are you okay if we sit down and have a cup of coffee? Guess what? They'll all meet with you. And so again, it gives you a potential lead when someone's asking a real estate question, typically around getting a CMA. And then, again, that's your opportunity, or it's an opportunity to take that lead back to your realtor that you're currently partnered with, who may not have been great at following up with the client and saying, hey, guess what? Remember we closed a loan for the Smith family. Hey, I just talked to Mrs. Smith and she was asking about the value of your home. I told her I'd have you make a comparative market analysis. Can you go ahead and do that and send it over to me? And again, you want to set, if you're going to, I would recommend you have, 3 to 5 people in your database that you say, hey, because realtors ask for leads all the time, and they deserve a lead from you, and say, great. Hey, you know what? I have this thing called HomeBot, and you can explain to them how it works. Then you can say, I get people who ask for CMAs who may not be buying at this time, or they may be. And if I needed to get a CMA within 48 hours, would you be willing to commit to being part of my team? And again, not everyone's going to say yes, but most will. And then again, that's the expectation. You want to make sure that you get it back. The first time I asked a realtor for one, it took a week. And I was like, okay, that really didn't impress our future, my client, your future client, by taking a week to get that over there. And so let me kind of get back out of here, and then let me go into let me go back into just kind of a couple of things about this. So I think the biggest thing is that you need to sign yourself up for it. And if any of you just email me, todd@winbynoon.com, I'm happy to sign you up and put you in mine so you can look at it. You don't have to pay to be in it. You can set a landing page. So there's a couple of things here, right? So there's a share button up top. And so you can see this where there's a link that you can create it, put it onto your Facebook. I can tell you that when I did it once, I got nobody who signed up. So I'd put it onto your website, but I don't think it's really great. They've got, the ability to share it on social media. There's all the sort of links that you could do, and then you can get a widget to embed onto your site. My team has this on our site, and it's got directions on how to embed this fancy code in there. And so it is good. And, you will find that people will go on there occasionally. It also does have, I forgot to show you guys at the bottom, refer a friend. So we have had people refer friends into our system, which is kind of cool. You have people add houses and you're like, oh crap, they just added a house, which means they didn't use me for their loan. That does happen. Again, this is just a reminder to you to be better at your craft, better at connecting, better at relationships, better at supporting your clients. And then, so again, you kind of go back to the client piece for a second. So you've got homeowners, and then let's just talk about buyers for a second. And I thought the buyer thing was sort of goofy, and I was like, that's really dumb. But ultimately, here's what happened when I realized that I was the that I was the dumb one. Now let me just figure out how I get back into where I'm trying to go. So one thing is you can see up here, send a video to all your buyers. I'll show you the video parts in a minute. Again, you can learn about it. So again, it tells you all these things of what's in there. So HomeBot got pretty smart because they thought lenders were like me and thought it was really dumb. Again, I hate to say it, is that realtors, close your ears for a second. Loan officers, again, if you're providing a way for your clients to search homes, number one is you're keeping them off of Zillow. So you are protecting your real estate agents. But number two is, again, you're seeing who is shopping, and then that gives you the ability, you're ahead of the real estate agent in the transaction. And that's a potential lead that you can send out. So like I can tell you here, like Judy Abel is a client of mine from whenever ago. And when she signed up for this, I called her and she goes, "Oh, Todd, I'm just playing around. You know me, I'm going to be buried in the backyard of this house." All right. So this is where, hang on, here's the magic. So when I go in here and I go click onto my active buyers. So let's just look at that for a second. Again, so these are people who, again, 3 hours ago, this lady right here, she viewed a home and then she was looking at a new listing, right? I mean, again, look at this. This person just messaged our team, right? This guy viewed his home 14 times. So again, if someone on my team doesn't call this person, like we're like dumb. These people are looking at houses like they want to buy houses. Probably all people who somebody should be talking to. But I'm not finding the most magic part of it. So this is where I see, since I'm not a HomeBot pro, someone's asked me what it uses as search listings. Let's just do that for a second. So let me go to the customize button. So these are all integrations that it has. And some of them you'll see aren't connected. Some of them are. So like, again, we got Mortgage Coach connected. You can send a video email out. You can do, BombBomb hooks into it, Sales Boomerang, which we don't use, Zapier, Zapier will hook it up to different types of systems. There's this thing on instant offers. I don't really know much about it, but I probably should have it on here since instant offers are big in our market, so that if someone's going to get an instant offer, that they come through us and we can refer them to an agent who might be able to get them a commission. And then custom listings. So again, if you're a real estate agent, you can click on here and you can connect it to whatever listing service you're using. Ours is hooked to YLOPO. So I'm not an expert on all these different things, but ours is using YLOPO. So when a client wants to search properties in a certain area, YLOPO is what they're going to look at. Again, it's not branded. They're not trying to steal the data from us. It's our data, and that's what it's using. And, again, if a real estate agent asks me about it, great. Hey, I'm protecting them from going on and they didn't register in Zillow. They registered with me. And guess what? Since it's our client, I'm going to make sure, I've already had the conversation with them, and I'm going to make sure that they, that they come back to you. The video email thing is pretty cool. I wasn't smart enough. I did it this morning. I recorded a video and sent it out to 3,000 people, but it's going to slowly send it out. It doesn't send them out at once because it's trying not to get, blocked from all these different spammers. But you can see here, it didn't send it out yet. I did a video today on BombBomb to send out. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be really impressed with how many people watched it and interacted with it, but I did it too late. But ultimately you can come in here and you can do all sorts of different videos that you can send out. And like I said earlier, there was a couple of spots where, well, now that I sent the video, it's not showing me all the stuff. It would show you that you can use a YouTube video, a BombBomb video, and some other thing that I don't use for a video that you can have people, go to. And let me look, if I hit the learn more, maybe that'll tell you the other part of it. And so, you can see we're hooked up to BombBomb, and it's got BombBomb best practices. So you can go in there. Oh yeah, you can do that. I didn't even tell you guys that. I'll make sure I do it. Oh, here's the video button right here. So when you look at these videos, so this is really cool. And you can see again, failure of my team. All right, I'm going to go a few minutes late, guys. So if you need to jump, don't worry, we'll put the recording up. But I think that there's just a few more things that I want to make sure I go to. So this is pretty cool. They've got, you can see here, these videos that are pre-canned. So when someone clicks on that purchasing power button, like, hey, you can buy a new house, they have a video already built in there on that. But you can see all these other things that we can have custom videos on, and then they've got their pre-canned videos that are pretty good. But you can come in here and you can put a custom video on all of these different things. And that way there's a video that when they click on it of yours that they can watch, and you can see that. And so you can see here, someone's asking, does HomeBot have video? So some of the stuff you can see, there's already a pre-canned HomeBot video. And then some of it says add video. So I could go in there and add a video. And then you can see here, here's the choices, right? YouTube, BombBomb, Pitch Hub, Wistia. So those are where you could do the video. So you could do a video and then you could put it as video here. You put the video ID in there. You know, if you're using BombBomb, you're going to put the embed code. So again, they try to make this all user friendly. You just have to figure out where the right button is to push. And so, you know, again, that's where you can have the videos in here. Should we have them in? Absolutely. Would it take more than, you know, an hour to record 10 videos or whatever we can put in here? Probably not. Probably take 30 minutes. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to be good enough so that when people watch it, they're like, hey, I'm going to have to call Todd. Todd's a pretty smart guy. You can send one video out a month to your database. And again, they've got, you know, different ways you can do that. Let me go back. I'm trying to find the piece on the buyer. So here's the coolest part about the buyer thing. You know, again, and people are like, well, is it good? It doesn't matter if it's good. Our people are using it. Here it is right here. So check this out. Do you guys see what it says right there? Move date. So I told you Judy Abel's not moving anywhere anytime soon, but check this out. You can actually sort this by when they're moving. So guess what? Like, so this person, I know she moved to some other state. But again, hopefully these are all people that my team actually helped. Because ultimately in the end, these are all, you know, move dates. So the crazy thing about it is when someone registers to move, about half of the people in our group, right? These are the people who didn't register with a move date. But they're telling you when they're going to move. So talk about generating a lead for you to refer to a realtor, or if you're a realtor, that's your client who you haven't called, maybe, hopefully you called them, and they're actually searching for property on here. And they've told you when they're going to, you know, when they're going to move. So, you know, this is where I'm like, I get really mad because then again, looking at this, you know, like, look at this. I mean, these are pages of people. So I'm going in 5 pages in, we have 15 pages of buyers. And, you know, again, I'm hoping that when we get here, I'll show you, this is where it gets kind of cool. These are still people like these are all people who gave us a move date. Like, come on, think about this, guys. And so here you go. Look, when I go to the end. So these people are telling us that they're going to actually buy next year, right? I mean, how cool is that? Right? Here's people who are buying, you know, who are buying now, who have registered to buy. And so again, I'm hoping that someone on my team has, you know, reached out to these folks and is engaged with them. And you can see exactly the zip code, the price point, all that stuff. And then this no pre-qual button, which I don't know what the pre-qual means. It probably just means we can say that they're pre-qualified, but we can add the pre-qual in there. Again, so kind of a super cool thing. All right, someone asked me a question through the question and answer. How are you keeping track of what you said to buyers? Do you put a note in there? Okay, so that's a great question. So for us, all these clients are in our CRM. And so what I would be doing is I would be, when a client self-registers for here, we create them as a contact in our CRM. When a client, you know, so again, if it's a closed client, again, same thing. And so again, we're just going to the CRM. If somebody sets themselves up as a buyer, someone requests a CMA, we're just noting the CRM, what it was that they requested and when the last time someone called. Because one of the challenges I find that most people in business, all of us, don't do is we don't have those frequently, what's the next call? So our CRM says last time we talked to them, it's got a spot for what the conversation was, what did we learn? And then it's got a next call date. So in theory, you know, our team is going in today, sorting next call date of the 15th, and they're making calls proactively within our database. And so ultimately what you would want to do is make sure that you've got a system to remember, you know, to remember all these things. You know, absolutely, for sure. That's what I would recommend. Someone's asking what CRM we use. We have a custom version of Salesforce. But again, I don't care what CRM people use. The best one is, you know, the best CRM is whatever CRM you use. Ours is just one that you can build fields in there. And I tell people, if you have a company CRM and you can't create your own fields, there's probably a field in there that you don't use, that you can just hijack that field and put something else in there for, you know, for yourself. But ultimately, to me, that was like the blinding flash of the obvious. You know, when you looked at one of these, I don't know, I think I've got myself as an active buyer. So let me just show you guys real quick what the buyer piece looks like. You know, just so you see it. Let's see here. How am I going to search myself as a buyer? Buyers. So the issues button just tells you who has bad email addresses in there or bad data. Every once in a while, it doesn't pull data for your house, which is really weird. Like one of my rental properties, it doesn't have a value for. I have no clue why. It just doesn't. And so that just probably means Black Knight just doesn't have it. So let's see here. I made myself a buyer once. And so when I go in there, again, here's what the buyer report looks like. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it since we're going over, but ultimately you can see, you can change your price range. You can see the market temperature, right? Biltmore, Greenfield, like this area here that I picked 85016. The buying timeline is 124 days. Now this is kind of cool, right? And so you kind of go in here and it gives you, gives you this data on here of, I don't know if you can hear my dog downstairs is freaking out. I'm not quite sure why. I think my neighbor's garage is open and they think it's my daughter coming home. She's not, she's at class. But it's just showing different stuff here on the nearby homes, but somewhere there is oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So if you look down here, how long could it take to buy, to buy a house, right? So prepare. Oh no, my wife just came home. That's what that noise is. So there may be someone jumping up in here and talking to me in a minute. So in fact, let me just text you real quick that I'm on Zoom. Perfect. Okay. She's taking care of her mother because her mother's caregiver, my sister-in-law, has COVID. All right. Back to it. Sure. Sorry. Look, there's a bird. So I really like this part here. It's just telling people what the time frame is to buy a house. So it's not telling people in this crazy market that you're going to get a house in 30 days. It's given, wants people to prep, time to buy homes. And again, like, can I afford more? So when I click this button, then it's going to let the team know that, we were notified and we're going to contact them shortly. So again, you're getting this insight into it. And then I can go back here and then I can go back to, actually, let me hold on. I'm moving too fast for you guys. Let me just go back here for 1 second. So there's a buying report, there's a market report, which is what I, can kind of see these different areas and see, what's going on in these markets. And then you can see the homes part of it. So this is this goes back to the house, one of our houses that's in here, the house that we looked at earlier. So this is the one I tied it to when we did that. Let's see here. Someone says you bring great value. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate that more than you know. All right. So what other questions you guys have as I get ready to wind this one down? I'll just say kind of a couple of things. So again, let's just sort of look at the power of HomeBot, right? So when I come back here and I go back to my clients, again, so you can see here, now, obviously some of this interaction was me interacting for you guys. But when I look at the activity, right? So literally since we've been on here, these are all people that have, so we've been on here for an hour. Oh, that dog is really loud, but that's okay. So in the hour that we've been on here, we have 3,000 people in our thing. So these two people did it about an hour ago, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that one doesn't count, 7. There's another 10, and there's another 10. So we've had 27 people, oh no, check now, 26 people in the last 43 minutes since we've been on this webinar that have actually engaged with HomeBot without my team doing anything. So right there, that sort of is my point. These aren't people who just got the email. These are people who actually clicked on the email. So if you looked back when I showed you that last thing where it has a big pink button, says your home report is ready, and they click on the button in the email, those are people who actually went to this website and looked at that property report. And again, this is where you have such an opportunity. Like, who am I going to call today? Well, guess what? There's 26 people my team should be calling because they've already looked at it here and it's just 11, just 10 a.m. here, right? And that's the crazy part. And it sends them out throughout the month. So again, it's not shotgunning 3,000 people at once and we're not getting 100 people to call at one time. However, you can see it sent out a batch because we got a lot of people that are actually looking at it right now. All right, so I got some other questions here. Someone says they're using Trello. That's their one. So thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca's awesome out of the DC area. It says, do you upload your pre-qualified buyers into HomeBot? Karen, that is a great question. And the weird part about it is we don't, and we should. And so again, here's where the realtors who are on here aren't necessarily going to agree with me or like my answer to it. But I would say if I was pre-qualifying a client, it's kind of like there's other apps out there that a lot of mortgage loan officers use that have search on there. And my script would probably be something like this. Oh, hey, awesome. Carrie, I'm super excited that you are, now that you're pre-qualified. Do you currently have a real estate agent? And if they say no, then I'm saying, awesome. Are you okay if I refer you to somebody, right? Because again, you get people referred by friends and family. And again, make sure you're a good citizen, right? If someone was referred to you by a past client, make sure that past client's realtor who referred to you, that past client, is the one who gets that lead, right? Oftentimes I talk to realtors and they're just so mad because they're like, oh, you know, I referred my next door neighbor to this loan officer. My next door neighbor referred the next door neighbor to the loan officer, and then the loan officer referred him to a different real estate agent, right? So again, be a good citizen, make sure that you're tracking that lead. And then I'd say, where are you looking at stuff? And if they say they're looking online, and again, this is one of those things where those of you who stayed to the end are going to get one of my magic scripts I forgot to give earlier. When they say, oh, I'm looking online, and I say, oh, awesome. Do you mind if I ask which site? And if they say like, Zillow, or one of those sites, I'm gonna say, oh, awesome. What do you think? And they're gonna say, it's great. And guess what? It is great. They've got billions of dollars. They made a great user experience. I'm gonna say, awesome. Hey, do you know that they're selling your data? They're gonna be, what? Okay, so there's a script again. Do you know they're selling your data? Nobody wants their data to be sold. Yep, every time you hit a button, they're selling your data to somebody who's going to use that data to reach out and track you. I've got a private search I can set you up in. And then when you're ready, I'm happy to refer you over to an agent that I know and trust. And that way she or he then can set you up in their own private search for you. Again, because what you really want to do is make sure that everybody knows that their data is getting sold elsewhere and you want them to be in there. Now, if they were referred to you by your best realtor and you know your best realtor is going to put them right into their MLS search right away, then great. Probably don't put them in HomeBot because that's just going to cause confusion. But when they're already searching somewhere else, I say, hey, get rid of that one, use mine. Once you select a realtor, they're going to send you theirs with specific listings. Great, use theirs because they're, dialed directly into the MLS. But, the data sold thing works all the time. And then if your realtor's like, well, they're still using your site, well, then one is telling me you probably need a better site because they're using my site, not yours. And then the other piece of it is that we know most people are looking at the properties the realtor sends them, and then they're also going online, right? Because again, they don't realize that the realtor sent them the house, the one house that came on the market this week that was 1 story, no pool, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. They drove through the neighborhood and they saw another house. They forgot it was 2 story. They don't know it has a pool in the backyard. They don't know it only has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. And so they go on there to figure out, well, why didn't my realtor send me that property? And so they go to those other sites, and it's because that property didn't meet their criteria. So they need somewhere else to look at properties that you don't send them. And that's why I think that's a good observation. So, all right. So a couple of other things. Someone said, where's the recording? So again, I'll get the recording up after I get off this. It's going to convert. It'll be up. Let's just say it'll be up by tomorrow because I have to have Adam do it onto the Win by Noon YouTube channel. So if you just go to YouTube and type in Win by Noon, you should be able to pull up the channel. Someone says that they want to improve their use of Win by Noon. Awesome. We're going to be doing a bunch of webinars on it as we hit the last week of September and the first week of October as we launch into Q4. So both Adam and I will be doing it. You can always reach out to Adam at Win by Noon. He'll jump on a call with you, tomorrow and walk you through Win by Noon. He's super knowledgeable. He's probably taught it as much or more than me by now, but I will personally be doing some Win by Noon webinars going forward. All right, so I answered that question. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything else out there. Thank you, Carrie, for your kind words. It's funny. Really, the reason I've been doing this is because I feel like as we talk through these different things, that it's the scripting piece that, it's hard to sit there and write down a script, but when you're in flow and you're teaching, it's easy to come up with a script that you've used before. Okay, so let me just look and see if there's anything else really brilliant that I'm forgetting. If you guys have any more questions, you can ask them. And then here's the add a client, right? So again, when you go here, that's where you can add a one-off client. And then you can also add clients in bulk. You used to have to send them to them, but now you can there's a template to upload homeowners and a template to upload buyers. And so you can upload them and get that done. I think there's a little bit of a time gap, but I don't know what that is. But ultimately, this is where you can name, put people in there, and you can add a bunch of stuff in there. I don't think you need a whole lot of data, because once you put it in there, then it's going to automatically, once you put them in, it's going to, reach out there into the netherworlds of the data mines, and it's going to pull in that information. And then here it says add as a buyer. And you can do that. I just said we just put them in as homeowners. We don't really have them do as buyers. And one other thing I would point out here is that when you go to your homeowners page, you can actually search by rate as well. So again, it shows, some of them show estimated rates, which means it doesn't have, it doesn't trust the data that it has. It might be estimating based on when they got it. And then you can see here, like it thinks these people have, things have a 7.37 rate, things have a 6.6, these are just all old rentals of mine, right? Things might have a 3.99 rate. I promise you he doesn't, but again, just means it didn't update it for some reason. So again, you can kind of go through here and see it's pulling up all the Bookspans. That's why. All right, let's try that again. There you go. So it's got other people in here again. So some of these, could be, you would just kind of look at it and see, okay, does this guy really have, I said I wasn't going to look at someone's stuff, but I will. You can preview the digest and see what's in there. And you can see here that it's got an old mortgage that was at 8.5%. So again, it might just not have updated in there. I can't imagine that this person still has an 8.5% mortgage, but that's what their data shows. And so, again, that just means, who knows what it was, when it was, why it was, but maybe it pulled up the second mortgage, who knows, but again, that's where you're calling a client saying, hey, my thing says you got an 8.5% mortgage. Is that possible? And then, they would, again, you're creating engagement with them. Maybe it's like, oh yeah, idiot, your team got me a, bank statement loan 3 years ago, and I still don't have any verifiable income. So I'm stuck in a crappy loan or whatever that is. So, all right, I've kept you guys for 70 minutes. We are going to, we'll just do more of these. I mean, again, I'll my goal is probably doing every 6 months. Obviously, grateful that you guys took the time to be here. You guys had really great questions, and just know that, my goal always is to help people increase their business, whether you're in real estate, in sales, or in something else. That's what I'm here for. I appreciate you guys taking the time. And if I can be of value to you, please let me know. Again, you got the codes. If you're a new person, you want to sign up, use those codes, save some money. If you have more questions, you can always reach out, todd@winbynoon.com. And appreciate all of you being here, all of your kind words. You guys crushed it, stayed here till the end, and I took you over. And I will look forward to the next time I got time with you guys. You guys